Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our bonus show of Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Kima. Because this is Black Breastfeeding Week, we thought it was important to get as much in as we could before this week ends. As you can see, we've changed our format just a little bit. In addition to watching our show here on Facebook Live, we have changed to a podcast format, and all of our shows will be found on Podbean. We have also changed the time for our regular show to from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time each Monday, and we will also feature 30-minute bonus shows like this one periodically. Our show, Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Kima, is all about natural parenting, natural living, and a whole lot extra. And of course, we are your hosts, Lauren and Kima. As mentioned, Black Breastfeeding Week started on Saturday, and Crunchy Boutique hosted a Black Breastfeeding Week forum and luncheon last weekend, which went really well.
It really did.
And we're so excited because tomorrow we are hosting our chocolate milk and cookies event and breastfeeding party at 6 p.m. here at Crunchy Boutique. We will also have a photographer on hand to take breastfeeding photos free of charge, courtesy of Tarrant County Breastfeeding Coalition. If you want to know more information about tomorrow's event, please check out our Facebook page and you'll find it there.
Clarification. Check out the Crunchy Boutique Facebook page.
Yes. Crunchy Boutique Facebook page. Lost my place. If you want, we want to continue talking about Black Breastfeeding Week today, and we are so thrilled to welcome today's guest, Dr. Ayanna Robinson.
Welcome.
So, Black Girls Breastfeeding Club was founded by mom and public health professional Dr. Ayanna Robinson. Dr. Robinson received her PhD in Health Promotion and Behavior from the University of Georgia in May 2018, along with a certificate in interdisciplinary qualitative research studies. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from Spelman College and a Master's of Public Health with a concentration in health education and health promotion from Morehouse School of Medicine. She has worked in the field of evaluation for over 7 years, supporting projects at the federal, state, and local level. Dr. Robinson is interested in maternal and child health, nutrition, and the use of digital technology to support health promotion. Her doctoral research examined the use of social network sites to provide breastfeeding support for African American mothers. Currently, she serves on several boards and working groups for organizations that focus on maternal and child health research and advocacy work. You're doing a lot.
And as my mother would have said, you're a bad mama jamma.
Again, welcome, Dr. Robinson.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Oh, sorry, technical difficulties. Again, welcome, Dr. Robinson. So we just wanted to go ahead and dive right in. Like we said, this is a bonus show, so we don't have as much time as normal. But if you can start, I know that you just received your PhD. So can you tell us just a little bit about your research?
Sure. So I'll start by saying that I'm a mom. So I breastfed my daughter and I've had an interest in breastfeeding since my daughter, who is now 10 years old, was born. Prior to starting my PhD, I received a master's in public health, and during that time, I was learning more about the importance of breastfeeding. I learned more about the disparities that African American mothers were experiencing, and so that kind of led to my focus and research on breastfeeding, specifically among African American mothers. And so, as I got into my doctorate program, I began to learn more about social norms in media. Within public health, I worked a lot in evaluation work, but I've also done some work in health communications. And so something that we look at in public health is social norms and the ways in which our social norms are translated through different populations. So whether that's our peers, one of the important aspects of translating social norms and influencing social norms is also media. And I remember having a conversation with a professor. We were talking about breastfeeding and different barriers that women may experience. One of those is media representation. As you may know, we don't always see the most positive representation of Black women in general on the media. And I remember being told, well, media, that's not something that we can change. Like, we don't have control over media. And so there's this other aspect of media, of course, and that's social media. Social media, the use content that users can, post and of course share. And that's a completely different side of media that I became really interested in because of its ability to both create communities of support, which could link to breastfeeding support communities, and also the potential to influence norms. And so for my dissertation research, I was learning again more about norms and how moms were already using social media to exchange support. And I was knowledgeable about existing Facebook communities for breastfeeding mothers. And so I really wanted to explore their experience. Right. The experience of Black mothers who were participating in Facebook communities for breastfeeding support, and how that experience, the support that they received in these communities, how it related to a number of different breastfeeding outcomes. And so that is what I focused on in my dissertation research. It was a mixed method study. So I did focus groups with moms, and I also did a survey and some content analysis of group conversations within those groups.
Okay. And in your research, is that what prompted you? Is that what led you to start the Facebook page, Black Girls Breastfeeding Club?
So it was actually a little bit before that. So
okay.
I officially started Black Girls Breastfeeding Club in 2015. But my work, research, as I was mentioning, was going through a master's and postdoc program, and even my community work in breastfeeding was a little bit prior to that. So about 2011-ish when I was finishing my master's program, and I received a small mini grant to develop a program with teen expectant mothers who were receiving GED assistance, going through a program at a community college in Atlanta. And myself and a few of my colleagues from College of Health, we implemented a breastfeeding intervention for their total response. So it was really culturally tailored. So we talked about historical factors that influence breastfeeding specifically within Black moms, and how breastfeeding within our communities, at some point was normalized, and how that has changed over time. And so we talked about different barriers that they may experience in addition to some other aspects. So that was kind of I would say that was more foundation work, and it was just moved forward by the work that I was doing with my graduate school program. And so my own interest, along with some of the community and research that I was doing, just led me to want to package something that was more intentional, and that led to the two goals of Black Girls Breastfeeding Club, which focus on education and also on promoting the positive social and cultural norms.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. So tell us a little bit about the intervention and how that worked, and what kind of successes you had with that.
So it was very brief, I would say. It was about 5 sessions that we held, and based on our very brief, and I would say that this was even a small pilot study with small number of mothers, we did see that their attitudes towards breastfeeding were enhanced after the program, and that their intentions to breastfeed. Unfortunately, what I know now, what we found, that this was a group of mothers who were, they were low income, low socioeconomic status, and so we should have taken multiple ways to keep in contact with them over time. So we were able to follow up with a few of them long term, before they got to delivery or right after delivery. And they were yeah, we're going to breastfeed. But a lot of them, their phone numbers had changed or disconnected. And so we did immediately following the intervention, we did pre and post tests, and we saw positive changes within that population. But the long term follow up was something that we were challenged with. But that's actually something with Black Girls Breastfeeding Club. One of the next things is to kind of revamp that program that was developed to more broadly include some other aspects of parenting as well.
Wow. So tell us what prompted you to target that group, the teenage moms. What prompted that?
So we look at our most vulnerable populations, in society, especially health-wise. Younger moms had the lowest rates of breastfeeding, and are also more likely to experience, challenges with preterm births, which becomes even more important, to breastfeed
Right.
because of how breast milk is perfectly, tailored for a preterm infant.
Right.
And so I just empathize with like that population of mothers and knowing that they don't often have the resources and experience like additional barriers. And I mean, I was not a teen mom. I was 22 years old. My daughter was born, so I also had that additional like sympathy to mothers who are younger and kind of the plight that they face as far as stigma and different things like that.
And wow, that's really fascinating. So, did you do anything with any of the other groups, the other age brackets?
Not for this program that was implemented some years ago, but for my dissertation research, so that was broad. That included mothers who were 18 and up. So we had I had a wide range of participants. I think the average age, if I remember correctly, was 29.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something else. Okay. So continuing on the questions about your research. You started talking about your pilot program targeting the teens. What else have you found?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
No, I was saying, what else have you found? What other research have you completed? And I know you can't really tell us everything or tell us a lot yet because you still need to. You said you still need to give that information to the participants in the research, I guess, or the communities that were involved. So I do understand you can only tell us limited information or limited information right now, but it's fascinating work. So whatever you can tell us, we're all ears.
Yes, sure. I'm happy to share what I can, and I'll just repeat. So part of the process, the research process, is sharing, of course, your findings with the participants. And I know research sometimes has a bad reputation, deserving in a lot of respects of taking, I should say, from communities and not like giving anything back or relaying that information. So me and having, wanting to hold that integrity to the research process.
Good for you.
I did share, so I'm more comfortable sharing some aspects because that has been communicated to my focus groups, participants, and approved. But I'm working on a larger report because I collected data from lots of different sources as a community brief report that I can provide to the communities on Facebook that participated. Mm-hmm. So all that is just a preface to say that's why sharing the research is, I can provide some general information. But one of the most fascinating things I'll say is that the community aspect was something that was an emerging thing that seems to be really important to Black mothers who were entering these communities on Facebook. It was interesting for me to see that they, even if they were a part of other groups, so other groups that weren't particular to Black moms, so both online and offline, I have participants who were a part of other breastfeeding support groups. But there was this expression of how important it was for them to seek out a group that was specifically for Black mothers. Mm-hmm. People, reference this shared experience that they had. So it's not just I'm a mom, but I'm a Black mom. Mm-hmm. And there's this, an intersectional experience that we have of Black mothers. And so I feel like that was like a powerful thing that the women reinforced as being like very important. Another thing that I can share is that based on survey responses and then also matching up to what I learned from the focus groups, there seems to be some positive effects that I think can be explored further in more longitudinal studies because mine was cross-sectional. So in a longitudinal study, we would look at women over a length of months or some duration. But from what I can see, the women had much longer intended durations than what we typically see. Mm. So I think the average was about 18 months as far as how long the women completed the survey intended to breastfeed. Mm-hmm. And that again, if we look at statistics, especially, among any population, but if we look at statistics among African American mothers and Black mothers, that is not the norm. Mm-hmm. As far as how long this so I found that to be an interesting finding as well.
It is.
As in addition to women expressing that well-being in these groups, there actually is this process of normalization that occurs. So that can look like me being more comfortable breastfeeding in public, or that can lead to a shift in my own ideas of how long a mom should breastfeed.
And so in your research, what just to clarify, you've said that this is the length of time that they intended to breastfeed, not necessarily the time that they actually did, but they're going into it saying, I plan to breastfeed for 18 months. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. So the longest intended duration. And so there was a range of current, like how long they were currently breastfeeding as well. So from a few months through over 20 months. Like I think actually in my focus groups, there were mothers who were breastfeeding for close to 2 years. And so there was a range of mothers, and the focus groups were actually designed to look at a different ranges of breastfeeding duration, so I could detect any differences in their experience based on how long they had their breastfeeding.
Okay. Now, we have a comment from Black Women Do Cloth Diaper. She says, when there is no physical community, the online communities often provide the much needed support. And I wanted to piggyback on that because as you were speaking, it occurred to me, I don't think that I've ever heard about anything, it may be out there, but I don't think I've ever heard about any studies or anybody who's taken the time to see what is the impact on social media when it comes to things like breastfeeding or other important things, having that community and that community being what supports you or encourages you to do whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's like Dr. Robinson mentioned, that shared experience, which is so important because it's not just, for example, with cloth diapering, it's not just a cloth diapering group, but it's cloth diapering moms that look like me. It's not just a breastfeeding group, but it's a breastfeeding group of moms that look like me. You know, that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And actually, what you said is exactly on point, because before, going into my research, I was looking to identify gaps in what we do and what, could be added as valuable information, and found that there were, a number of studies actually that look at social media support. I think in public health it's becoming more of an emerging thing that we're looking at, but there has been a good number of studies. Actually, there was a literature review in 2017 that looked at Facebook support. Not more specific, I would say, to breastfeeding, however, and I didn't find any that specifically looked at like the experience within Facebook breastfeeding support communities. I didn't find another study that was looking at that particular topic for Black mothers.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I know that we talk a lot about the importance of the different groups on Facebook and how it's almost it is a feeling of safety in a lot of cases, that you feel safe opening up and being honest, that kind of thing, when you feel that the other people in the group, like if you keep saying, look like you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So we also wanted to talk some more about the page specifically. You talked about your reason for starting it, but what's happening with it?
What kind of feedback have you gotten from the page? I mean, any success stories?
So, generally, I've received positive feedback. I think something that's always funny for me to hear is the stories of women who wear T-shirts, because part of Black Breastfeeding Club's T-shirt that we sell online. And so there was one story that I was tagged in. It was a mother who was wearing her T-shirt out in public, and I don't want to misquote her, but I think it was one of like the rallies, Women's March, may have been one of those, and people started asking her about it, which is one thing that I hear a lot. People are like, is this an actual like people are curious, and you have to search this Black Girls Breastfeeding Club for like, what is that like?
Yeah.
And so it was designed to be bold and to be a conversation starter in that way. And so I know that she said she was questioned about, the T-shirt, and people were curious, and she was inspired to say, yeah, actually I do want to do more. I want to start my own little club. I had another story of a person who been stopped a few times when she has worn her T-shirt, and people just wanting to know more about like what this is and how can they find out more information.
Right.
So on the page, the Instagram page, we use that mainly to share encouragement. Of course, the normalization is part of the goals of the organization, so that's a huge part of what we do on the page. But then also just information that may be relevant to Black women. Like, what do we want to know about breastfeeding? So news, especially because I'm on the research side, news that I think is applicable or interesting that I can translate, in ways that's not so technical,
right.
And that may be of interest. And so later, actually, this evening, just speaking about other things that we have going on, a part of our Black Breastfeeding Week celebration is going to be a photography session. So we're holding a free photography session for breastfeeding moms in Atlanta, which is where I'm located. And if you've ever tried to find stock photography of Black women breastfeeding online, you probably haven't seen it. At least I haven't come across.
Definitely not a modern photo. You might see wet nurses, stuff like that, but not a modern photo.
Exactly. And I was on Shutterstock recently, and I was just looking for photos that I could use, and I saw representation of every other race like represented, but I could not find a single photo of a Black mother breastfeeding. And so I sent them an email because of course this is part of the issue, this representation. And I received a quick response from somebody who was saying, they do understand that that's an issue. They're trying to increase representation. And so I was like, okay, well, this is an opportunity we can jump in. Like, we can provide more representation here. And so our project, in addition to providing the mothers, of course, with their breastfeeding photos, is designed to be a way to increase media representation of Black mothers breastfeeding, specifically as stock photography.
So are you able to submit the photos that you're taking to the companies for them to use them as stock photos? Is that how that works?
Yes, we are. So we have a photographer in Atlanta that's going to be taking the photos, and we'll be submitting those.
Okay, I'm
actually not as familiar with all of the language, but it's like creative content and different things like that.
I asked that question because we're having our chocolate milk and cookies breastfeeding party tomorrow, and we're doing the same thing. We're having a professional photographer here taking photos of the women breastfeeding, and we would love to, with the permission of each woman, submit our photos to you so that you can include our photos with the group that's being submitted for the stock photos.
That would be great. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. As you said, like, as long as the mothers are okay with having their photos used in that capacity, that would be great.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's funny you say that because Lauren and I were at a meeting where somebody, a white woman at the meeting, actually said, "I've never seen photos of Black women breastfeeding. I can't find them." And so we just told her to go to our Instagram page because there's hundreds of them there.
Exactly. You'll see them on Instagram.
Yeah, I said all you need to do is do hashtag, Black women breastfeeding or something, and you'll come up with a million of them.
Yeah.
But that means that we're doing our own thing. It's not because somebody else has picked it up or realized it, but we realized there was a gap there, and we're filling it. So I think that's a good thing. So tell us about, you said you have your event tonight for Black Breastfeeding Week. What else are you doing? And I was looking at your Instagram page. I guess this is your third Black Breastfeeding Week since you started your page. Is that right?
Second or third.
Okay.
I can't remember. And so actually, this will be, I think in the past, the focus has more so been on the social media campaign. So we did another photo shoot just with moms in our t-shirts and then talking about breastfeeding week. That may have been the year before last. So yes, I think this is the third one. And then the following year, again, just focusing on the social media campaign. So for as far as like physical events, this will be our first physical event. So I'm excited to actually branch out for like an actual event for Black Breastfeeding. Although outside of Black Breastfeeding Week, I participate in community events. So there are in Atlanta, Spelman is one of the schools that I do a talk at in the Women's Health Disparities class.
Oh, okay.
Because when I say like educating women, it's educating women of childbearing age on the importance of breastfeeding. Because oftentimes we make decisions about our bodies, like we make those decisions prior to becoming pregnant, or prior to thinking about motherhood. And so there was an organization in Europe with pediatrics that said that breastfeeding education should be a part of our normal like health education.
It should.
And I completely agree with that. So talking to young women in general is something that's a part of the event. In addition to community events.
It's funny you say that, because we had our luncheon and forum on Saturday, and our discussion question was, what can we as a community do to reach the broader Black community, not the people who are already inclined to breastfeed, but those who maybe have never heard about breastfeeding or haven't thought about it or whatever. Yeah. So I want to pose that question to you. It sounds like you're doing a lot, but I do want to pose that question. So what can we do? And you said that the teenage girls, that's a big target group, but what can we do to normalize it, to not make it a second, an afterthought, but something that you just automatically, know this is what that this is what I'm going to do. What can we do?
And I really think that goes back to the education of our young people. So that super open, but our high schools, our high school students, education on breastfeeding should be again a part of our normal health education, because it is. It's a very normal process. And so in schools we teach to some extent about reproductive health, definitely through the sex education. We should also be incorporating breastfeeding as a part of that education. Yeah. And so that's something that I feel strongly about, which is why I enjoy talking to college age students, and hopefully this school year, some high school age students as well, especially with the new curriculum that we are trying to develop.
We have a comment from Sydney Tilger, who says our public high schools are abysmal when it comes to any reproductive health.
Yeah, they are. It's really a shame that, in high school, I remember taking health class and you watch that terrible birth video that makes you just terrified of having a baby. And that's pretty much it. You don't talk about breastfeeding. You don't talk about, natural births, none of that. It's like you just, and a lot of the times, at least in my high school, those classes were taught by athletic coaches who are not health professionals, know nothing about, they just show the video. And that's it. So it's terrible. It really is terrible. But, making that choice to reach the young people in high school, or even before then, to let them know this is a normal part of life. This is how you nourish your child, which is so important and so crazy that it's not taught. That's
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Sydney also says she wonders how the colleges could help support breastfeeding.
So I think there's a number of things that colleges can do. If you even think about, Spelman College, for instance, they have, a health disparities class. And so that's where I've been invited to give us the ongoing, annual or however long it lasts, a presentation about breastfeeding as it relates to Black women and health disparities. And so there are definitely ways to integrate breastfeeding into college curriculum. And I remember seeing a study that was with African Americans in colleges that showed that there are some changes that we can see in attitudes as far as breastfeeding when we do provide that education to them. I think that also goes back to more broadly our workspace conditions and how they support breastfeeding. So colleges are a place of work where you may have students, that are breastfeeding in addition to staff and professors. So making sure that breastfeeding lactation centers or whatever is allocated towards breastfeeding is again a part of normalizing the process. So I know at the University of Georgia, which is where I attended school a few years ago, there was a push to make the lactation rooms more prevalent across the different campuses. So that's just one additional way that we can say, yes, we support, our nursing mothers who are students, you are faculty or staff or visitors. Like you are welcome and to breastfeed.
I think we have another comment. You want to go ahead?
Yeah. Andrea says, it is intended that it's not taught because big pharmaceutical makes big money on canned milk formula. We talk about that all the time. The formula companies, we know that dollars affect what's going on in this community, which is really sad.
Yeah, it is.
And you talked about, we talked about the fact that high school students need to get this information about breastfeeding. My question is, do you know anything about anything that's going on a legislative level anywhere in the country or at school boards or anything to make the changes necessary so students get this information sooner? I mean, we're telling them about sex, but we're not telling them about breastfeeding.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any legislation in support of breastfeeding education in high schools.
Okay. Well, when we talk about Black Breastfeeding Week, and as we prepare to wrap up our bonus show, which is crazy that we're at the end. But anyway, can you just explain just in your own words why Black Breastfeeding Week is such an important week?
Yeah, so we see the statistics, we see them annually, and I like to say that the rate of breastfeeding initiation and duration among African American mothers is improving, has improved over time. So I think that we should celebrate like our small victories and acknowledge that there are a lot of Black mothers who are breastfeeding, but we still know that it is not at the recommendation. As far as the American Academy of Pediatrics, as far as the World Health Organization, and the rates in which African American mothers or Black mothers stop breastfeeding is not necessarily a reflection of their own desires. And so we know that there are issues that need to be addressed in order to ensure that all mothers, regardless of race, regardless of socioeconomic status or age, are able so that they're able to make an informed decision on breastfeeding and that they are supported in their community to breastfeed for as long as they desire. Something else that I really just love about Black Breastfeeding Week is that we don't always have the opportunity to share our story and our narrative as Black women, and that's important. You know, as a public health professional and a researcher, I know that historically hasn't always been afforded to us. So just having a space where we can share our journeys, our challenges, our triumphs in breastfeeding is critical. And until we are able to say that we don't see these disparities as far as Black women and breastfeeding and knowing that we're the ones who are disproportionately affected by a lot of health outcomes that breastfeeding protects against, then we have to continue to advocate. We have to continue.
You know, and I will say too that you said sharing our stories is so important. It really is. And this is something else that I don't think we think about as a community because we're so focused on what's going on inside of our community. But people outside the Black community are actually interested in hearing our stories as well. And they're interested in seeing us breastfeeding. And they're interested in hearing about the plight of Black breastfeeding moms and the infant mortality rate and the maternal mortality rate. We have gotten such great positive feedback from folks that come into Crunchy Boutique and see what we're doing, or we get positive feedback on our posts and on our show and everything. So that's encouraging because it tells me that it's not us fighting alone, and we need to encourage other folks to continue to support us as well. And I really would like to pose that question as well, is how do we include, we talk about reaching our broader community within the Black community, but how do we include everybody in this fight to change Black breastfeeding?
I think we definitely have, I guess I can say, like allies who are not Black women, who are also interested in making sure that equity is achieved across all races. So in those circumstances, yes, I think it's appropriate to make sure that everybody is involved. I mean, it's not an issue that only Black women should be concerned about. In public health, our concern is health disparities, and so that's an issue that we should all be concerned about.
Exactly.
We should all be concerned about making sure that women have equal access to
Okay.
So can you let us know what's next for you? Do you have any upcoming projects? Anything upcoming maybe with Black Girls Breastfeeding Club?
And also, where will we be able to read your final report or your final research statistics and outcome?
So I'll start with the research report. And so I think I mentioned, but I'm in the process of developing a research brief, a summary report for the communities. And so that will be shared within the next week. And then there are also a few publications that are being reviewed. And so I can share those peer-reviewed publications when they are published, hopefully in the next few months as well.
Okay.
As far as Black Girls Breastfeeding Club, one of the things that we're looking to develop again is kind of like a revamp of the original program that I implemented with colleagues in the 2010-ish area. And so that program again was a breastfeeding program for young mothers. And so revising that program to also include some other aspects of natural parenting more broadly is the goal. And so that's something that we'll be working on over the next few months to the next year.
Oh, wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, we can't wait to be able to read all of it. But we are so happy that you were able to join us. And now we know that you have your Facebook page, which is Black Girls Breastfeeding Club. Are you also on Instagram?
Oh, you mean Facebook?
So it's actually primarily Instagram.
Okay, Instagram. I'm sorry. Are you on Facebook then?
We are not on Facebook. So
Okay.
there is a Facebook page. I haven't gotten around to actually populating the page yet.
Okay.
Instagram is the best way to see our content, but the Facebook page is forthcoming.
Okay.
And how can women buy your T-shirt? Which I've seen them. They're really cute. If you visit her Instagram page, they're really cute T-shirts. We have to get some.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So the T-shirts are available on the website. So everything is Black Girls Breastfeeding Club. So the website is www.blackgirlsbreastfeedingclub.com. The Instagram Black Girls Breastfeeding Club. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, the contact information is blackgirlsbreastfeedingclub@gmail.com.
Okay.
You said blackgirlsbreastfeedingclub.com?
Yes.
Yes, that's the website.
And if you want to email, it's blackgirlsbreastfeedingclub@gmail.com.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So before we go, we want you all to remember Crunchy Boutique, the natural parenting store in Arlington, Texas, and online. Crunchy Boutique is your one-stop shop for cloth diapers, breastfeeding supplies, baby carriers, natural skincare, and all other natural products for your entire family. Thank you so much to our listeners and Facebook Live viewers. Be sure to catch us each and every Monday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on our Facebook page, Natural Parenting Talk with Lauren and Kima. If you'd like to continue on today's conversation, please feel free to comment on the Facebook Live video and we will respond. So thank you again so much, Dr. Robinson.
Yes, thank you
for joining us.
And if we didn't say this before, which I think you did, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that you just got your PhD in May, and that's just awesome.
Yes.
So
Woo.
you go, girl. You hear our applause over here. We're patting our feet, doing our little happy dance
Yes.
and cartwheels, and that's really fantastic. Also want to mention to our viewers that we will not have a show on Monday because it's Labor Day. So we're taking a break, and when we come back, we will be better than ever.
Yes. So we'll see you all then. Again, thank you to our listeners, and thank you, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.